Hello and welcome to Chapman's Corner, where today you're riding on board my F1000 single-seater race car here at the legendary Cadwell Park circuit, which I do have a lot of history with. I have crashed at this circuit before. It's a very tight, twisty. It's known as the Mini-Nürburgring, and you'll soon figure out why. But you're riding on board for this race start. This is race 2 of the weekend, and they're out, and we're going pretty well here. We've got a really good start on our teammate Tom. Eric's going slow though, so we get past him, and then Adam is going slow too, so we managed to go from 5th up to 2nd by the first corner. Really exciting T1, T2 here, going into turn 3 following Craig, all of that dust being kicked up from oil laid on the circuit previously, and now we've got James Clennell all over our rear, so we're just sitting in the middle of the track following the line around the circuit. This was discussed afterwards. Others felt that it was swerving to defend, but it was looked at by the stewards and was let go. So we're going round now the gooseneck, and Craig, who's going first, who's got all this oil down, is kind of just figuring this out as he goes. So I don't envy him being first into the unknown. So now we're coming into what's known as the mountain section here, so a very steep lift up over that we get all 4 wheels off the ground. There is a yellow and red flag flashing, which means there's oil on circuit, which you can tell from the insane amount of concrete powder, which was a bit terrifying going through the first time, but once you get used to it, it's okay. Around the second to last corner, coming up to the final corner here, this is where I crashed the previous year into that wall on the left, so you can see I'm taking it quite easy and let Craig get ahead of me there. Got James kind of behind me, not close enough to be able to make a move into turn 1, but this is a very, very fun corner, 134 turn in. Bit close to the grass on the left there. So we're running in our highest position ever, and we've got James all over the back of us again, but again we just sit in the middle. There's nowhere really to go because of the width of the track. So we've definitely let Craig get a bit far away from us. Obviously with the defending, we kind of take our eye off what's in front. We really should be focusing as much in front as possible, but obviously with a car right in your mirrors, it's quite difficult. So yeah, the pressure's definitely on. Last year when I did crash, I was running in P2, but I was much closer to the guy in front. So I know that I'm better following rather than driving on my own. So the more of a gap I leave, then the worse I'm going to drive. Big catch as we go over the mountain there, through the hall bends. And we've got a decent gap to James in front. I think we broke a little bit early there. We've got a decent gap to James behind us, sorry. So we're just putting a 126, which isn't a very fast lap at all. I think the record's 121. My fastest lap here is 123.8, I think. So we're just finding our pace still, letting the tyres come in. Behind us, Rob makes a very daring move up the inside of James. Rob is the 2022 F1000 champion, has been racing over 5 years in the category, so very experienced and very fast racing driver. So when I saw this move in the rearview mirror, I knew it was only a matter of time that he'd be coming after me. Cadwell is obviously one of those circuits, as you can see, which is very tight, very technical, so it's all about making the least amount of mistakes possible. Rob right in my rear view mirror now. Nearly a second faster on the 3rd lap there, finding the pace a little bit better. This was definitely my worst corner, turn 3 here. I just wasn't able to get the car rotated like the others, and therefore it left me quite compromised on this straight, although I say that, and we're actually gapping Rob, so probably the best I took that corner all race, you will see. As you can see, we've got Rob right behind us now, and the closer they are at this point, they're not really going to be able to make a move because the circuit's so tight, so you know you can back them up, and you're kind of trying to back people up for this last corner, because obviously they're going to be able to overtake on the straight or into turns 1 to 4. So backed up Rob nicely, and we've managed to keep a bit of a gap, and we've gone 7 tenths faster again, so into the 124s now. This is probably a factor of clean air, tyres up to temperature, getting more familiar with the track. Obviously we only have about 2 hours testing on the Friday, and this being only the second race, we've done 15 minutes of quali and a 15-minute race earlier in the day. Now there's only 8 laps in this race because unfortunately my camera shut off before the final couple of laps. I will explain what happened when we get to that point. Now looking ahead, there is a car going slow and being overtaken, so I believe that this is a lapped car. That's unfortunate there, but we managed to get the pass done rather than getting stuck behind going into the mountain, so very good work from that driver. Now you do want to keep an eye on the rearview mirror. The green car that is 2 cars behind does actually overtake me before the end of the video, which is insane to say, but there is a lot of action going on behind. Unfortunately I didn't catch up to Craig. He is the 2024 F1000 champion ahead of me, so wasn't really expecting to catch up with him. But I was pretty happy to stay kind of within catching distance, but we've just messed that final corner up and Rob's going for a move here. So again, we just sit, we follow this line, not really moving around too much there. And we've defended that nicely and held our position. Very much a defensive race, not really what you want to be driving at this circuit. So now Rob's under pressure from behind him, from James Cornell, and James from Matt. Big braking zone here. Big catch there going out of the bottom hairpin. It's very fun going up and over the mountain with all the crowd and everyone watching from the cafe. Super cautious again around that final corner, letting Craig disappear a little bit. Again, PTSD from the previous year. So apparently I was compromising this turn 3 here by turning and not rotating the car quick enough and getting it facing the right way. Definitely the corner I was working on the most with Matt, obviously with this straight. If you look behind me, I believe someone's about to make a move there. That's Matt going around the outside of Rob and getting the move done. So now I've got Matt all over the back of me. What you've got to know is this was a reverse grid race. That's why I was starting in P5 and these fast guys are behind me. Craig had an issue with his car in the first race, which is why he started ahead of me. That's why I went from 5th up to 2nd on the launch, because it was a reverse grid for the top 10. Now, feeling the pressure a lot from Matt here. Big catch there going down the hill. Another big catch. Getting it rotated. Knowing he's not really going to be able to pass, but knowing that I'm roasting the tyres, and he's definitely going to be getting excited knowing that I'm making mistakes. Now, he's definitely close enough to make a move, but I do have decent top end on this car and the power. So he's trying to stick his nose up. I'm never going to let him go past into turn 1. Definitely one of my favourite corners in the UK, I'd say, turn 1 at Cadwell. But I know that I am a little bit vulnerable here, but I've managed to keep enough of a gap to him. Didn't touch the apex there and was going a bit slow. Matt gets on the power early around here. This is a very interesting corner, this gooseneck. Up and over, it's very blind from where you are. Grass comes in very quickly, you don't want to be touching that or you'll end up on the wall. Now unfortunately, I lost the rear cam as well at this point, so whilst it's saying lap 8 of 8, I do believe there's one more lap left to go. All the interesting stuff is what's going on behind us. What I will now do is, following this lap, I will then play Matt's video for just that final lap. And then you can see how close he was to the back of me and how much I was having to defend at this point. It was quite intense. As you can see, those last 4 laps were all within the 24s. Not the best consistency, about 3/10 between everything, but it's also pretty good at amateur level. It was really all over the back here, just faster out of that third corner, or turn 4, sorry. Definitely subscribe to see more onboards, a lot of exciting stuff happening this year. And also, if you want to see some behind the scenes stuff, get live Q&As, and a few other sort of things that you wouldn't get from my main channel, then make sure you subscribe and put your email into the link in the pinned comment and also in the description, and hopefully have you part of the racing community. I was good here on the brakes, good at braking late and get the car rotated around this corner. Now as we go through the mountain, you'll notice a small mistake. Skid there. And Matt makes a very, very daring pass. And as you can see, we weren't too happy about it. We'd given up our P2, but at the end of the day, it's still a podium, and it's still going to be my first podium. However, there was drama that happened after this, and I'm about to show you. So, we managed to bring it home here, but as we went into that final corner, someone went for a move down the inside of me, as you're about to see, and hit into me. I then went off the circuit. I managed to keep driving and have the wheel turned, so yeah, it was pretty mental, and I'm gutted that you didn't see the car going over, because it literally went over my head. And it was a real shame that that's how the race ended, but I still managed to cross the line with the wheel completely to one side, crabbing. Now Tom, my teammate, had overtaken me on that final corner, because if you notice at the start, he was quite far forward to the right of me, out of position, the black and orange car. He got a penalty, a 10-second penalty, which meant I still finished on the podium for the first time. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry it didn't go to the end of the race. So I'm going to play Matt's video, and yeah, enjoy.